All right, so welcome to this lesson. I know it has been a very long time. How long has it been now? Maybe like 2 months, going to 3 months. I've not dropped any video, but yeah, I'm back. We're going to be getting videos weekly, and also I have like good things I want to put into place. Other form of blessing that I want to start talking about. Anyways, without wasting your time, let's go straight to this video. So I'm going to just walk you through how I retouch this image from looking like this to this. Alright, so let's go straight to the point. So this is the before and this after. So I'm just going to delete this. I'm just start over again. Okay, so one thing we're going to do, I'm going to show you what I did when it comes to camera raw. So I'm just going to double click it. So what I did was, when you bring image, let's just do it. Let me just do it again, and just to show you what I did. So when you bring in raw files, when you bring in raw files like this, and drag it into Photoshop, right? It's going to load up in camera raw. So one thing, let's edit this image. Let's edit this. So as you can see, I've already made some adjustments to it. So it's going to just have the adjustment. So let me reset it. So this is how the image was. Should I edit it? No, let's not edit it. Let's stick with the one I showed. I'll say I'm going to do. So what I'm going to do is, what I do usually is, instead of clicking on open, right? Instead of clicking on open, if you have any adjustments to do, maybe you raise the shadow or do whatever adjustments you want to do. Maybe change the what's it called, the profile, color profile, right? Instead of doing it open, if you do it as open, if you click this open, you can't come back to this camera, on this image and make any corrections, right? So what I usually do is just click on this arrow and see open as object. So if I open it as an object, it's going to have this symbol. Let me open. So it's going to have this symbol here, right? Which means the settings I did, whatever I did has not been overwritten. So I can also go back and, as you can see, I can come here now and change it to Adobe standard, right? Color profile is different. Come here, click on OK. Right. So now this is still a raw file. So the difference between this and opening normal is that this is still a raw file. This image, this one you're seeing here, is still a raw file compared to, let's bring this in again. Let's bring this in again. This place. Let's open it here. Now I'm just going to click on open without clicking on open. So now this works. This applies to if you shoot on raw. If you don't shoot on raw, this does not matter. But if you shoot on raw, if you shoot on raw, if you shoot on raw, this is a good thing, as you can see. So if you shoot on raw, then this is very good practice to do. But if you don't shoot on raw, it doesn't really matter. As you can see now, you can see background, there's no sign here. Even if I double click this, I can go back to camera raw compared to this, as you can see. if I double click it, I can go, it will take me back to camera raw to make the whatever adjustment I need to make, right? So I just said, let me show you that. Okay, so cancel, yes, let's close this, no, let's close this. So one thing, as you can see, is that the color profile makes a lot of difference. Anyways, let's use this for as an example. So color profile makes, if you are shooting a raw, especially if you're shooting a raw, if you're not shooting a raw, this is not going to work on your image. So one thing you notice is that I've already cropped this image, right? So this is full, I've cropped it already. So as you can see, the reflector is on the ground, that is hitting a leg here. But anyways, if I change this to Adobe color, right, as you can see, the color is going to change. So one thing with raw file, not just raw file, one thing with your camera is that when you click the shutter button, whatever your camera is recording is just black and white. It's not recording colors. So this is where camera color science come into play. That is why you see the colors coming out from the Canon camera is different from the colors coming out of the Sony camera, and the colors coming out of the Sony camera is different from the colors coming out from the Nikon camera, because the sensor does not capture color. Even if we use Canon, Sony and Nikon to shoot the same scene, the same image, the colors are going to be slightly different, because the sensor is not actually recording colors. It is the camera company, the camera producer that decides how the colors are going to come out. You get? So this they do using color profiles, ICC profiles. You understand? If you are using camera, if you are using Capture One, it's going to be ICC profile. But in Camera Raw, Lightroom is going to be color profile, camera profile. So now Adobe has their own profile. So when you bring a raw file into Lightroom or Camera Raw, it's most likely going to come to Adobe Color. This is how Adobe is interpreting the information coming out of the camera. Remember, the sensor does not record color; it just records information, and it is the camera manufacturer that decides how the color is going to look. And also, Adobe also have the way they decide how the color is going to look. So you can do Adobe Color, Adobe Standard. As you can see, the colors are changing, right? Portrait, the colors. This is looking a little bit flat. Standard is flat, and vivid, right? The color comes out and it's punchy. So outside of that, when you come to browse, right, there's this thing called camera matching, which means that Adobe also has the same color profile that is in your camera. They actually try to mimic it and make it available to you. So let's say you shot your image flat, you can come here and click on flat, and the image is going to look flat, maybe landscape. So the same profile that's in your camera, maybe natural, portrait. So the same colors that's in your camera, that is, I think this image was shot on with portrait, right? Or I don't know. Anyway, so most times I just come and use camera standard, because this is how the camera manufacturers want the colors to look. So I really do not like Adobe colors. Adobe color is flat most times, but I use it here. There's sometimes that you need to use it, maybe because of the settings you did, blah blah blah. Especially in Lightroom, I use it. But for portraits like this, I like to just stick with camera standard. You can try neutral, try portrait. So in your own camera, so you can also come and play around with. These are all the profile in this Nikon Z6 II. Right, so you can come and just pick anyone you want, and the good thing is that you can also limit the amount, right, that you want. How what's it called now? The intensity of the color profile. So I'm just going to go back and just stick with standard, right, and click on OK. So I hope you understand what that is. So the reason I'm showing you this is that most people will like, oh, the reason I don't shoot with RAW is because when I shoot with RAW, the color does not come out nice. The reason it does not come out nice is really maybe it comes out different than you see it on your camera. Is the problem is usually this color profile. So maybe you bring it in and it's showing Adobe color, and the colors is just looking flat. It's not looking like you saw it on your camera. So the best thing to do is to come to this profile, come to browse, and just go to click on this, and you go to camera matching. Click on camera matching and just choose the one you like, the one you used rather. So most likely you're going to be using standard. So if you click on standard, the image is going to look exactly as it looked on your camera. Alright, so now the next thing we're going to do, basically, this model, her skin is basically flawless. I mean, her skin is smooth and nice and all that. But just for demonstration purposes, what I've done is I've cropped with 4x5 Instagram ratio, right? So I'm going to come to Retouch Academy and click on Gaussian blur. I've used it. So if you don't know how to set the radius, I've done this so I can check my old videos and you see how to set your blur radius. So I'm just going to choose 4. Click on OK. Then turn off the high frequency layer and just come to the mixer brush. Settings as always is 30. Then I use between 8, 9, 10. I don't go beyond 15, right? So if you're using a small screen, like currently I'm using the monitor I'm using is like 13 inch. It's not really big. I like editing with the large screen. So what you can do is if you press F on your keyboard, press it again, it's going to go into full screen mode. So you can just the image will just fill up the screen and you can edit and see what you're doing, right? So what I'm doing now is just click circle around and just brush. Alright, so to come out of the full screen, you just press F. Press the F and you're back. So this is before and this after. So now if you want to do everything I just did and you want to make it faster, all you can do is let me delete this. If you get a quick retouch action, you can just come and click on it and select the radius you want. Click on, because I'm using 4, just click on 4, click on OK, and it's just going to run the action and basically just smoothing the skin for you, right? So there's no need to do plenty frequency separation, especially when you have a lot of pictures to edit. And yeah, so this is just going to work. It's magic, and here you have it. So all these things that I used time to do, so this before and this after, before and after. So it just basically smoothing the skin, right, before and after. Alright, so if you want that, you can get it. If you want to use manual mode, I mean, whatever you prefer, right? So next step here, what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to work on the so one thing what I'm going to work on is the background. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to duplicate, Ctrl D, come to this tab, this the one down part, and come to select and come to select subject. Okay, so what I'm going to do, come here and just click on so I click on this market to right click and click on layer via chords. So what is this going to do? You're going to separate the subject from the background, right? So from here you have two options. You can either come to filter, come to blur, come to Gaussian blur, and just blur out the background, right? So you can do that, blur the background and click on OK, then push this back, and the background will fix for you, right? Or another step you can take that I will take in this video is to use the mixer brush. The reason I use the mixer brush is that it makes the background, Gaussian blur works, but because this is a plain background, right, there's no pattern, and I like the way there's gradation, right, in the tone, in the lighting. There's gradation. Here it's dark and it gradually fades into a light, like this thing. I'm just going to use a mixer brush and just brush it, remove all the unevenness, right, all those parts where there's dark and black and dark and bright areas, right? So I'm just going to use the mixer brush to just remove those parts. Alright, so now we're here. What we're going to do is just click on this and let me delete this. So Ctrl Shift Alternate E to create a new visible layer. Right, so I'm just going to delete these two here. Yes, then so this is before and this is after, right? So yeah, so that's that. What we can do now is just use loads, right? One thing I'm going to do is that this our chest area is kind of bright, so what I'm going to do is just go to take this, click on this, and come to camera. Go to filter and go to camera raw. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come to this masking tool here, come to radar, and just select it like this, and make the feather, like make it 100, and just reduce the highlight a little bit, right? Click on OK. Right, that's just reduce the brightness. So one thing about images is that wherever is brightest, that's where the eyes go to. So I want the eyes to be on the face and not the chest area. So the next thing we're going to do is just to even out the skin tone, right? I've already selected a skin color, right? You can copy the hex code if you want. You can pause this video and copy the hex code. So it's 96603A. So 96603A. You can copy the hex code and get the same effect, the same the same colors. So I'm going to change the blend mode to color, come to the brush and just painting it, right? So what this does is just blend the skin tone, make the skin tone even, right, and add color to areas where there's no color. So one thing I'm going to avoid where like the eyeshadow, this pinks, purple side, if you don't hear pidgin English, that Abia is rather. Anyways, so we're going to do this, and this surface I'm just going to reduce the opacity a little bit. Right, make 30. Create a new layer again, come to color and come to the neck area, just paint. Alright, so I'm going to reduce the opacity, then come to create a new layer again. Now you can use one layer to do all this, but because I really like I like control, so that's why I'm using different layers for different parts. I like control. I like to be able to control each section with the opacity differently, right? As you can see, I really don't care adding it on top of the neck chain because I know I'm going to reduce the opacity. So when I reduce the opacity, you're not going to notice it on the chain. So that's why I really do not care. Alright, so reduce the opacity. Yeah, so I can use the same layer for the hands, so let me just do it. Alright, so this is this, right? So yeah, one thing we can do now is just come to what's it called now? Come to the filter, come to color lookup, and come to, I'm just going to select this, right? Reduce opacity a bit. By the way, this my color grading pack is still available for sale if you're interested. Come back again to color lookup. This time come down, choose maybe 2. You can reduce the opacity a bit, then color lookup. As you can see, I'm just layering them. So come to 1. Yeah, I like the way this looks. Then just reduce the opacity a bit. Right, so I group them now, so you can have before and after, before and after. So one thing we can do now is come to curves and adjustment and just brighten it up a bit, right? Then I'll come to vibrance and just bring out the color, let the color pop out a bit. Alright, so okay. The one thing I usually do most times, let me see if it will work on this. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. Is come to curve and just create a nice curve like this. Right, take it down up here and bring it up like this. Now what this does is that it's going to make the skin tone pop. So I'm going to Control I. Right. So as you can see, one thing you notice is that most times I really do not edit image the same way. So I can come and just like paint on it, right? So this is on. So this is going to make the skin tone pop, right? It's just going to make the skin pop out more, right? The skin just going to pop out and have a little bit more color. So sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. The reason it does not, the reason why sometimes it does not work is because of lighting, right? Sometimes the lighting might, if the lighting is not good, this might not work. But if the lighting is good, this definitely works, right? So you can break the opacity down, right? So before, after. Uh, Alright, so alright, so we have before and after. If you want it to test, you can raise the opacity, right? So before and after, right? So yeah, there's a doubt is done. You can also maybe come to selective color, clip it to this mask you've already created, and just see how you can move the color more. And I mean, can do weird things to can do weird things to the image, right? So you just have to look for a way to make, I say is enough, right? So let's take this down a little bit. Alright, so here we have it. Last thing I'm going to do is probably the eyes. So the eyes, what I'm going to do to the eye is just whitening it a bit. Come to my eye and teeth whitening action, and just paint on the eyes. Right. Okay, so one last thing is I don't like the way the reflector is showing up in the eye. So I'm just going to fix that. What I'm going to do, just create a new layer, come to clone stamp and just paint the eyes like this. Now don't worry about if you paint anyhow, because you're going to reduce the opacity. Right, so come down and just reduce the opacity. So this way you're reducing the intensity of how bright it is. Right? Alright, so before and after. For me, I feel the color is too much, so I'm just going to Ctrl Shift E. I'm just going to come to vibrance and just reduce the saturation just a little bit. Right. So there you have it. So there you have it. This is before and this is after. Alright, so if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel if you're not. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.